Good morning, everyone, and welcome, or should I say, well, I guess it is good morning, everyone, to the FX Daily Roundup. We are starting early today. Got a dental appointment. I didn't want to go on and miss the Daily Roundup, so it was either be that, and something I couldn't get out of. So, there's always something going to happen in the market, and you just can't work around it sometimes. And we've been a very, very quiet market overall. Obviously, FOMC minutes, so that's really had a pretty big impact overall. You can see this market has been deathly quiet. If you were able to watch the European crossover webinar, we talked about the euro dollar. When we look at the euro dollar, and let's go to that right now. Sorry about that, folks. One moment. Tail end of that cold from last week. Thank God it's almost out. Well, it is out, but I'm just a little bit remnants, I guess. But anyway, getting back here to the euro, one of the things that we had talked about here, or that we had referenced here on our bias chart, pull this back here. We've looked at the a little bit wider parameters than usual, which is the 919 to 1020, and you can see we've been on this downtrend line here, and it's really kept the market in check. I always run my trend line through the bodies. To me, that's where you see the most volume. But obviously, different ways. Everybody has their own way of looking at things. Some run it through the tops of the wicks or bottom of the wicks, depending on downtrend or uptrend. For a while, they've been coinciding right here with this 1020. Obviously, the slope of this line continues. It keeps going lower and lower each day. But here's the resistance right here is 1020. And the key is if the market can get above 1020 on a daily close, that will serve two purposes. Obviously, we'd be closing above this horizontal resistance and some very, very good resistance to start with. And also would take out some closes right here. But would also break this downtrend line, which would open up, I won't say a flurry, but certainly open up some short covering on here. Now, and I want to go and touch on a couple of things here. So although yesterday, what we had referenced in the chat room, and we'll go to that, bear with me. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. We had referenced in the chat room yesterday, we were looking for some support. I was actually looking for what I called minor support because I'm still using these wider parameters because generally, like I said, when we're doing the bias chart, we're looking at the day's support and resistance for the next 24 hours. So you can probably think, wow, that's a little bit wide, and that is wide for us. I mean, now that's not wide at all when it comes to a big event, like let's say non-farm payroll, ECB day. I could say a little bit with FOMC minutes, but the thing is where the rubber meets the road is going to be 919. But early yesterday, I was talking about 939. I think Manda was herself looking at 940. And we did get to 941. A couple of guys in the room were covering their shorts there, and we've since seen a rebound here. I thought that was going to be a decent area here. Basically, you can see all the volume that was coming in. That's where I came up with the 939. Now, there is something important that I do want to go and focus on. We can see the other pairs. They've been, once again, relatively quiet. I'm going to go to the dollar CAD real quick before I move on to something else, which I think is important, okay? We did one heck of a turnaround last week. Here, the dollar CAD, it just couldn't buy a bid. I mean, we could get a bid, but it couldn't sustain a bid. And we just kept working lower and lower, and it just certainly looked like we were really going to really fall down below 132. And we saw that miraculous turnaround on Wednesday, but what we haven't been able to do is take out this 33.36. So we do get FOMC minutes today, and I was putting in the chat room, but it's been, like I said, relatively quiet today. Is that despite whatever it does, it's all about a daily close. We need a daily close above 33.36. Okay, very, very important. Now, here's one thing in concern that I have for the euro here. Now, I think it's important. Okay, and here's something I think is important. And the reason is, and I was just actually notating here in the chat room. I'm going to get here to the euro. Okay, now Blake's out for the rest of the week because he's vacationing with his family. So I'm doing the basic technical analysis. I do it during the week for the in the Asian session for the majors. But in order to help out, I'm doing it for the other pairs. One of the markets I follow, but I'm doing it all the end of the day. Let's call it end of the day analysis. And one of the pairs, one of the markets I'm looking at, and we could see a big move. And once again, you know me, I'm no bull for the euro for nothing. Like I said, I bought into that argument so many times that I have whiplash every time you think it's going to take off. But we are at a key juncture. What's going to take? Well, here's something that I think you really have to keep your eyes on. And let me get to this real quickly. And I think it is important. Right here in the bunds. Now, when I did the analysis, because it's going to cover everything, I'm doing all the end of the day analysis, even including for Bitcoin and ethereal, whatever you call that. I even did that. I show you a chart. If it gets above 204, it looks like we can get some nice movement up to about 222 on that. Just remember, markets I don't even normally cover, but I did the analysis on it while Blake's out. But I was doing it on here on the bund. And one of the things, and I think we covered it this morning, but I think it didn't save my analysis. If I remember, I looked on there. But one of the things I notated, I remember in my notes, I was like, wait a minute, where's my little analysis note here? I think we're in the early signs of a breakdown here in the bunds. And you know that the bunds, the move that we've seen in the bunds to the upside, obviously inverse relationship, lower rates. We've gone, remember how negative we've gone in German bunds, preceded those gigantic moves lower in the euro. But when you look at the bunds, look at the data that we've been getting out of Europe. Not only Europe, but specifically Germany, just horrible data. I mean, just you can't say there's no other further superlative other than just plain old horrible. There was a little bit of a surprise yesterday. There's some data, but it makes no never mind. The point is, I think we're in the early signs of breaking here in the bunds. And what my take was here on this, obviously you can see 75.84 is key level. We were actually above it at the time when I was doing the analysis yesterday. My take is right here, this level, 75.29. We're not that far away. Let me put it this way. In order for this market, the resistance comes in, the real resistance is going to come in right there at 70, basically 177. Market needs to get above 177 just to buy a reprieve. That's all I'm saying, just buy a reprieve. And to turn things around, we'd have to get above, I think it was like 78.06. Here's my concern. I think you need to keep an eye on this bund at this 75.29. I know Steve's been bearish the bunds for a little bit of time, for a while. I think about close to a month maybe, or something like that, or maybe a few weeks. But here's my concern. I think if we get past this level right here, I'm going to put it in the old pink line so it stands out. And this is on the 2-hour chart, so it's not like as if we're looking at a 30-minute chart and trying to just scalp this thing, although that's a very nice scalping market. I used to trade it quite a bit about 3 years ago, I guess it was. But here's my take. I think we're in the early signs of this market breaking down. And look at this phenomenal run we had. Look at that, okay? So my thought is that if we do break, and I think we're in the early signs of kind of rolling over, because the data continues to get worse, but the bunds are telling you something else, okay? So, and they've already said they don't want to do any stimulus, blah, blah, blah. I think if we break this 75.29, we're not that far away. What are we, 40 ticks away now? What's 40 ticks when you've seen the kind of moves you've seen here? I think you could see this thing cascade lower. And I think it may take its time. It may not even take much time, because it was up here above 76 when I was doing the analysis last night. If I would take a picture of the chart, or if my analysis got saved. But the point is, I think that if we break here, this market could cascade rather quickly. And if it does, because don't forget, if we do that, think of it this way. You get below 75.28. We've broken but a couple of times, but we've held it. I think if you get below this 75.28, that's it. That's all, folks. Then anybody who's long, whatever, is going to get out. People who may be more aggressive and say, I'm going to short it here. I'll just put my stops above 75.84, 2 consecutive closes above that, and I'll say, and I think we could really quickly come undone. I'm not going to say we're going to come off a bunch, but I think we could come undone to the point that the euro could see a good pop. How much? I don't know. Probably realistically, maybe something like 100 pips, maybe even more than that. But the point is, like I said, you know that the whole reason that the euro came undone was when the bund started taking off and just started going further negative. We saw these moves as it just galloped higher. My concern is that we could really start to come under pressure and the wheels could really fall off the caboose on the bund. And it doesn't mean that the euro is going to 118 or anything like that. But could the euro then go rally up 150 pips, maybe even more? Yeah, it could. And is the euro at a key juncture right now? So I just want to go on and stress on that. Bear with me one moment. Look where the euro's at. It won't take much. You see what I'm saying? So if the bunds cascade lower, just on a technical break here, you could send this euro quickly up to like about 11.13. And that wouldn't even be asking very much. Now, like I said, I'm no fan of the euro, but like I said, if the bunds start coming off, and I think they could cascade lower, if they go beyond that 75.28, then I think you can quickly get a snapback here in the euro. If nothing else, just an evening up of positions. Nothing else. Not anybody going all crazy or anything like that. So that's something that I think we ought to go and keep a very close eye on. Let me just jump back in here. Other than that, most of the markets have been relatively quiet. Let me switch back into that screen. I haven't had the switch up here because, like I told you, I was doing all the analysis across the board, which is it's good. I mean, since you get exposed to other markets, you know, that some markets obviously I don't pay too much attention to, like Bitcoin or the Ethereum. I think I had it up here. Is that it? I think. Let me see. That was it. Okay, I guess I have it on a different one. Maybe it might be on this one. Well, I guess which one I've got it on here. But anyway, if we get above 203, we got a daily close above 203. Got a chance to quickly make it up to 222. I have to see where it puts the charts in here on that one, on that particular one. But I've seen some other charts that I normally would not look at. Now, keeping an eye on the gold market. Once again, we're still relatively quiet here in gold. Bear with me, but we still have the potential to push higher. The real resistance is going to come here at 15.15 on the spot, which is about 15.20 on the December futures. I think it's trading right now about a $5 premium. I will take a look at one other thing. Obviously, like I said, I was doing that. On silver, okay? Once again, and when I was looking here in silver, it still has a potential. We've got a nice confluence here at 1803, which is also confluencing with the 61% here. If we can get above that, I think that the market has the potential to push up higher. We certainly did. We did go and push higher. We're just kind of weakening here. We'll see how the FOMC minutes comes out. I mean, you can have multiple ways to interpret those things, and the market's still going to do whatever it wants. But other than that, we're just kind of being held in check here. A moment. And one other thing here, and I did the analysis obviously on the S&Ps. If you saw that into the day analysis, I was pointing over here on the 29.21 being a key area, and I said if we could get a daily close above that, that would open the door for us to challenge 29.45. Well, they got up to 29.21. But they've turned around and you can see on the 2-hour chart, turn around, roll back down the hill. But we're looking at this trend line that we're at. Really opens the door that potentially, and you can see that into the day analysis, if we do break here, and we've got this trend line here, if we do break that, I think we're going to come down here to 28. I put it actually listed at 28.39. Looks like it's 28.40. I think the D's might be trading at a 1.5 tick or 1-2 tick premium, but you can see, keep an eye on this one here. We'll see how the U.S.-China trade talks come about, see how that plays out. That's about all that I've got right here. Dollar index, we'll go on and switch into that quickly. Like I said, I've got a dental appointment I got to make, so hang on one moment. But I thought it was really important to share that, at least the thoughts on the euro I wasn't going to make such a big deal about, but right now the bund is pushing lower, so we really have to go and keep an eye on that. Now, as far as the dollar index, 99.40 is going to be on the upside if they stretch them up a little bit, 99.40, and on the downside is going to be 98.58. I just put that pink line above it, but it's right on there. You see here. So other than that, that's about all we have because, like I said, relatively quiet trading ahead of FOMC minutes. But keep an eye on that euro. I'm not saying it's going to happen today or whatever, but more importantly, keep an eye on those bunds and that 75.28. If we do, right now we're trading at 75.68, and we were above 76 when I was doing the analysis. They were like at 76.11 or 22 or something like that. I have to look because I think it, for whatever reason, it didn't save my little analysis notes. But keep an eye on that bund because I think we are, and I do remember putting that in there, in the early signs of this market breaking down. And if it does break down, I think that we will cascade lower if we get past 75.28, which will go in and push the euro higher just on an evening up of positions. And I think that potentially can easily push us up to about 11.19. So keep your eyes open on that bund. Thanks for joining us here on the Daily Roundup. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time, same bad channel. And like I said, consider a 10-day trial with ForexAnalytix for $1. You get a chance to go on and look around the site, as well as the different disciplines, whether it be macro, basic technical, harmonics, Elliott wave, and also, like I said, to me, I think the strength of the room is the chat room. But once again, thanks for joining us here. Good luck trading today.